Hello, I'm Trey Zipper with By Memorial Day, where we've made it our mission to clean every veteran headstone in America by Memorial Day. I'm traveling across the country to raise awareness about the condition of our veteran headstones by showing you what they look like in your backyard. Today I'm in Indiana, Newburgh, Indiana, which is in the county of Warrick. I arrived at this cemetery, Sharon Cemetery, and found 18 veterans buried here. It's a beautiful old cemetery. The headstones are old. Many of them are thin, tall, fragile. They actually have a sign at the front of the cemetery from the township, Ohio Township, informing people not to touch the stones because they're easily broken. However, what that should not apply to are veteran headstones provided by the Veterans Affairs Department, National Cemetery Administration. These veteran stones are about 4 inches thick. They're made of white marble. You can't tell from this stone that it's white marble. This is one of the worst I've seen. But this is a Union soldier from the Civil War. As best I can determine by almost as if I'm reading Braille, is that this man volunteered for the 25th Indiana Infantry. So before I talk a little bit more about the history of this particular area, I'll give you an idea of what some of these stones look like so you have a really good idea of what you're dealing with in Indiana. If you happen to live in the Newburgh area, we're just outside of Evansville, very large population here. I'm hoping that a few patriotic citizens will come together, learn how to properly clean these stones. You can visit our website at bymemorialday.com, and I have videos on the cleaning kit that you need to put together, how exactly you clean one of these stones, and we have a link to the protocol that was issued by the National Cemetery Administration recently, so you can be sure when you get permission from the township, you can show them how you're going to do this properly with doing no harm to the stone. But this filth needs to come off of this American hero stone. I hope you'll agree with that. So let me give you an idea of what some of these stones look like. You may wonder why I selected the Evansville, Indiana area to shoot my video about the condition of veteran headstones within the state of Indiana. It's because I have hope that there still exists that spirit of patriotism in the Evansville community that existed with their grandmothers back in 1944. Back in 1944, the women of Evansville would come out to the train station and greet those traveling cars of soldiers headed off to war in Europe. Thousands and thousands of those young men in uniform hanging out the windows of those trains as the women would hand up cups of coffee, hand up donuts to those young men. Many of those men never returned, but one of them that did survive World War II, the invasion of Normandy, was my grandfather. And so from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Evansville, Indiana, for what you did for my grandfather, a homesick 18-year-old boy from Florida, headed off to God knows what. The kindness of that coffee and donut, you can't even imagine what that meant to him. And I'm just here to share with you that he never forgot that. He shared that with me, and I will continue to pass that on. So thank you, Evansville, Indiana, from 1944. And again, I hope today's generation will rise to the occasion and get out here and clean these veteran headstones. As with every other state I stop in, it only took one cemetery in Indiana to find the condition of our veteran headstones. Before filming this morning, I had the idea that maybe I would go to the local courthouse and find the monument that they had erected for the Union soldiers, the local boys here from Indiana that fought for the Union during the Civil War. Unfortunately, after about 6 or 8 phone calls, I was able to determine that they have no monument here in Warrick County, Indiana, which was pretty surprising because this is where Lincoln learned the law. The county seat is Boonville, Indiana. And so if you look that up, I mean, we're in the land of Lincoln. This is Lincoln's boyhood home here. He literally went to the Boonville courthouse to learn the law. Obviously, eventually became the President of the United States. Led the North in the conquering of the South during the Civil War. And this is what these local boys look like today. Hope you got a good shot at this. Both of these men volunteered for the 25th Indiana Infantry Regiment. Let me explain to you how this used to work. So Lincoln called for 75,000 troops to invade the South. This is in early 1861. And so when the call goes out to raise these troops, at every courthouse, at every county, in every state, they would raise a company. A company was comprised of anywhere between 100 and 120 men. And those would be merged with 9 other companies to maybe 10 or 11 companies would create a regiment. So this was the 25th Indiana. So these are local boys from Warrick County. These are the young men who stepped forward to the call, showed up at the county courthouse. 120 of them raised their right hand and said, "I'll go." And so within 3 or 4 months, statistically 21% of them came back in coffins. They were dead of disease within 3 months. So you can, between 25 and 30 of these brave young men didn't even make it through boot camp. Then they got to move off to the horrors of war. Don't know if these young men were killed in battle, don't know if they were wounded, don't know if they were captured. We don't know their service yet, but you can look up the 25th Indiana and you can follow their movements throughout the Civil War. But it really doesn't matter. Their stone should not look like this, okay? This is a white marble monument, no different than what we see at Arlington National Cemetery. We don't let our veteran headstones look like this in national cemeteries, and there's no reason why we should allow this to happen in our private and municipal cemeteries. So if you live in the Newburgh, Indiana area, Evansville, Indiana area, I hope you'll join me in getting out here and getting these veterans' graves tended to properly. And maybe you might want to raise some funds to build a monument. We need more monuments for patriotism in America. We're tearing down a lot of our patriotic monuments. I personally believe we need more of them, because otherwise you end up with this. You end up with America's greatest heroes forgotten and in a disrespectful condition. So bring out the volunteers in your area. If you're not in the Indiana area, your veteran headstones probably look like this. I've been to many states already, and I've not found one other than Utah where they don't look like this. the arid environments of like New Mexico, where the biological growth doesn't grow like it does here. The stones look great, but they don't have flags. They don't have, they've got weeds on their graves, things like that. So BuyMemorialDay.com is where you can find everything you need to know about how to address this issue. Join us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Buy Memorial Day. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Share these videos with people you know. I'm estimating we have at least 5 or 6 million veteran graves that are marked by these federally provided, federal government still owns these. These are government property. So when you're seeking permission, share that protocol from the National Cemetery Administration with the local cemetery sexton so that they can see for themselves how to properly care for these stones because they're not delicate. It's just, you just need to know how to do it properly, and we need patriotic volunteers to come out and do the work. I'm Trey Zipper here in Indiana, raising awareness about the condition of our veteran headstones. I'm on my way to Kentucky, so you're next, and then Tennessee, then Georgia, and then up the eastern seaboard. So when we start finding those Revolutionary War patriots along the eastern seaboard, maybe that will resonate deeply with America, that these places are hallowed ground. This is hallowed ground. This is a soldier's grave. And again, research the 25th Indiana. Let's see what these young men did. I'm Trey Zipper. I appreciate you watching. I hope you'll join us to honor these veterans by Memorial Day.